Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. This is Pastor Green. I can say pastor now, but in this particular church, I was a whole lot of things. And what a pleasure and opportunity it is to be back at Puritan. And Deacon Kite just finished telling us tons of memories way back in the day about our adventures here at Greater Grace Temple. It started off, I believe, as Bethel. Bethel back in the day, the name continually changed to Grace, and I think it changed to Grace Temple because New Bethel, we called it New Bethel, but it was never new.
Never new.
And I think Bishop Ellis was inspired by Bishop Morris E. Golder in changing that name to Grace Temple. But growing up here as a kid, we have so many memories, and I'm looking over to the other side of the auditorium and just remember all these people now. And I'm wondering how come I'm the only one got gray hair, and all of them. But I tell a testimony all the time. I never forget, and I thank God for Deacon Glenn and Deacon Majors. I remember Deacon Majors gave a testimony back in the '60s, standing right up there at that podium, and I use his testimony when I'm talking to kids all the time. He stood right there and said he loved being saved so much that if it was never a heaven to go to, he would still live this life. And I remember that testimony back in the '60s, just like it was today. And he don't know today how much that testimony as a little 4 or 5-year-old kid inspired me, because I was like, man, I thought we was only coming to church to go to heaven. You know, you were either going to heaven or hell back then. Wasn't no in between. But here go a man standing up saying that even if there was not a heaven, he said, I will continue to live this life because he enjoyed living saved. And as a 4-year-old kid, that thing really did inspire me. But on the lighter side, growing up in this church, it was so great because all my brothers, 7 boys and 5 girls, we all grew up here at Greater Grace Temple under the leadership of Bishop David Ellis and Bishop Ellington Forbes. And we were just talking earlier about the choirs that were started here. Everything began here. Everything you see over at 7 Mile and Telegraph, all the foundation began here. And when you look around this room at all these people like Irvin Wims, we could talk about Irvin Wims. He was the only organist that we knew. He played for every choir. We had choir rehearsal it seemed like every day back then. And we look at Deacon Glenn. Deacon Glenn hired all of us young men to work, and we'll never forget those kind of things. We work for Deacon Glenn and Deacon Majors. All of us now that are successful in life, we learned such a great deal by coming up under the leadership and guidance of those people. And we don't know how long we may have those people here. And so we just want to let them know while they're still here and can hear us, how much we appreciate all that they pour into us as young men. Now, I wasn't the ideal saint here. You know, I was just telling some of the brothers earlier, I probably got beat in every inch of this church. I got a whooping in the choir stand. I got a whooping in the bathroom. I got a whooping in the baptism room. Me and Bishop Ellis used to swim in the pool, in the baptism pool, with our underwear on. We wasn't trying to get baptized. We was just trying to take a swim. We remember back in the day, the Lenoff store was across the street. He was I believe a Jewish man, and somebody had told Lenoff that the Green Boys were gonna come in this store and steal everything. And so he put a security in the store because we was going in this store and we was stealing everything. And so he put a security guy by the door, and we went in his store, Deacon Kite, and we stole everything again. And the security guy looked at us and he tried to stop us, but it was one of him and it was 7 of us. So he just said, hey man, y'all have a good day. And it was amazing because he would come across and tell Bishop Ellis would tell my father, and of course, Deacon Green would have us on the front row, and he didn't mind whooping us while service was going on. And back then, the sisters was encouraging the men to beat their kids while they was in church. And so we was on the front row getting whoopings on the front row while service was going on. And the sisters, and back then them sisters had big old arms, big elbows and stuff, you know, because they ate good. They were some, listen, Listen, them sisters, God bless them. I remember Sister Gooch was right here, and Sister Hicks was over here, Sister Clemens, and all of them, Deeks Twin. We remember all those. That's when Tony Kite was a real nice little girl back then. But see, the devil done got busy. The devil done got busy. You know, but back then she was a nice, saved girl. Dean Kite wouldn't let nobody touch Tony back then. He covered her. You know, she was so nice and cute and sweet. And then all of a sudden she grew up. What happened to Tony Kite? I'm just teasing. Tony has always been, she's always been sweet. And back in the day, but now these Joyce and all them, they was bossy back then and they bossy now. They trying to boss us around, and this ain't even their church. And they still trying to run us. But I thank God, I'm done, but I want to thank God for the legacy of growing up here at Greater Grace Temple. I thank God. If I could do it all over again, I'll do it the same way. This was a great experience, and this is historic. And to be able to come back here, we thank Brother Maurice for opening the doors, and Pastor Ellison for opening the doors, to allow us to come back here just to reminisce one more time, because this is historic. Let the church say, amen.